The Velma show is, well,
not funny whatsoever.
The worst thing to happen to Scooby Doo since Scrappy.
Jinkies.
It's absolute trash.
So the buzz around the show isn't great. My first reactions, I tended to agree. In the first 2 episodes, I was like,
How dare you?
taking offense to Velma telling the audience that the only reason adults would be watching cartoons would be to toast it up with Scooby and Shaggy in the back of the Mystery Machine, if you know what I mean. Making me ask, who is this really for? With episodes 3 and 4, my thoughts didn't get any better. After some time mulling it over and watching the first 4 episodes for a second time, I finally understood what Velma is about. At face value, it seems clunky, lacking all direction, and is downright uncomfortable at times. However, this is all intentional, because this is a satirical look at the young adult genre, most specifically how outlandish and problematic teen dramas can be. Velma uses 3 traits to get its satire across: exaggeration, irony, and sarcasm, using both exaggeration and irony to create a bizarre situation, while the characters use sarcastic wit to openly mock topics or tropes to bring awareness to them. One example is in episode 3, where all the girls at school take a self-defense class. This turns into them having a full-on boxing tournament to see who is the least vulnerable girl in school. At face value, this seems a little appalling and dumb, but the subtext of the whole situation is ironic. In order to be the least vulnerable, they must be the most capable fighter. However, in order to win, the girl would be physically in peril, over-exaggerating the situation by not teaching the students self-defense, but making them warriors themselves, with some side sarcastic comments from different students about the whole situation. Each episode repeats this same type of scheme to bring awareness to different problematic teen tropes. The creators understand how outlandish it is, but it knows that the audience is smart enough to know that it's satirical in nature. This is why Velma's comment about adults watching cartoons shouldn't be taken as an insult. It's a wrong assumption that showcases Velma's prejudices towards topics and others. But we'll talk about her character more in depth in a little bit. Teen dramas have been around for a long time. When it comes to their plots, there are a lot of different tropes that Velma puts an emphasis on. One of them is the love triangle. We've seen it in Twilight, The Hunger Games, Legend of Korra, and so on and so forth. And I don't think this trope will ever die. In this show, Velma must choose between Daphne, Fred, or Norville. I mean, Norville isn't really that important in this situation, he's more in the friend zone, so it's either Fred or Daphne. If you're asking why is this important, I have honestly no idea. When looking at teen dramas, a love triangle can sometimes be the whole plot. Looking at you, Twilight. Nothing else happens, it's just a character being indecisive about their love life. From the first 4 episodes, it seems like this will be a large portion of the plot. The biggest question that stems from this love triangle focuses on Velma questioning her sexuality. There is nothing wrong with this topic, but for some odd reason, teen dramas see sexuality as a very rigid thing, when in reality, sexuality is fluid. Both this show and teen dramas in general refuse to address bisexuality, pansexuality, asexuality, or any other, making Velma's pondering over her affections for Daphne or Fred a little arbitrary, when it's okay to be attracted to both. I do feel like the creators of Velma are again doing this intentionally to showcase how downright insulting this way of thinking is. Besides Velma's love life, it has a lot of different tropes and references to teen shows and movies. Daphne's journal looks like the burn book from Mean Girls. Within any montage, there's a popular song playing, and characters always saying that they aren't in a TV show when they are. I don't understand this trope. Why is this a thing? Velma addresses one of the biggest problems with the young adult genre: inappropriate behavior of teenagers in TV shows. With shows like Riverdale, there seems to be this notion that putting teenagers in inappropriate situations is okay, when it's not at all. And because Velma is a satire, this trope has to be over-exaggerated. Great. And that's what it does indeed. In episode 4, Velma is in charge of ranking the 5 hottest girls in school in order to save their lives. Because some psycho is targeting only the hot people for some reason, can we just agree that this trope is weird and move on? Besides the plot tropes, each one of the main characters is an over-exaggerated stereotype as well. Starting with the main character, Velma is the problematic protagonist. The main character that thinks the whole world revolves around them, causing problems for everyone around them. Velma takes it to the extreme, being a jerk to Norville, reading Daphne's journal in front of the whole school, and thinking her mystery of finding her mom is the only thing that's important, actively prejudging things before listening to others. Can this be overly annoying and problematic for moving the plot forward? Yes, but also, does it help the other characters like Daphne and the other popular girls put her in her place when she's wrong, which is like 95% of the time? So if you get frustrated with Velma, just remember Velma is an unreliable narrator, and nothing she says should be taken verbatim. This version of Shaggy is very different from the other adaptions. Norville is the goody two-shoes, afraid of getting in trouble, and very anti-420, if you know what I mean. I'll stop. Norville is a over-exaggerated version of Ducky in Pretty in Pink, the boy who's stuck in the friend zone but has a huge crush on the protagonist, going to insane extremes for Velma, almost selling his kidney to the black market to get Velma $500 she needed, or following Daphne around all day in order to find out what Velma finds attractive so he could mimic it. Even after Velma says she's not interested, he still tries to pursue her. This isn't cool or romantic at all, but this has been a trope in rom-coms for like a long time. Characters like Norville are looked upon as the hero, when in reality, they're kinda sad. You know when you watch Scooby Doo and you're like, who is Fred Jones? Is he a boy who loves traps? A leader? A big goof? Well, in Velma, the question is scrapped away because Fred is just the rich boy stereotype. He has money, he has style, and he can't do anything for himself. He can't even cut his own steak. He's way too privileged, which makes him naive. Also, he thinks he's the coolest thing since sliced bread. This satirical look at the rich man has been around for a long time, so there really isn't that much to say about it that's already been said. Last but not least, we have Daphne. Remember the good old days when Daphne was just a little quirky? Now she's just a full-on thrill seeker who enjoys getting into dangerous situations. Seriously, do not mess with her. This leads to Daphne's stereotype of being the popular girl who is more relatable the more you get to know her. She starts out as being the typical popular girl who's the queen bee. Then we spend more time with her and we learn that she isn't that bad. If I'm gonna be honest, I kind of wish Daphne was the protagonist instead. There are so many interesting plot points from Daphne's perspective. Her and her friends are getting targeted, she's trying to find her birth parents, and she can kick butt. Not sure if that was the point the creators were going for or not, but either way, I've been enjoying this style of character for Daphne. After pointing out all of the similarities and over-exaggerations of Velma and the young adult genre, why isn't it obvious that this is a satirical piece? Well, I have some theories. In a franchise that has a talking dog, Daphne's weird hobbies, and whatever this crossover movie with kisses, it's already ridiculous. So to over-exaggerate the franchise further is a tall order, making some feel like Velma's absurdity is in the realm of possibility for the world of Scooby Doo. On the other hand, teen dramas are so over the top as well that it could be quite hard for some to see the subtext of the series. Unlike other satirical works, the premise didn't seem crystal clear from the start, which in turn confused its audience. Also, most of the characters use sarcasm and deadpan humor in a subtle way to get the satire across. This is all fine, but some will take what is said literally. I think the biggest problem comes from the pushback of the series. Too much of the show has been taken out of context, causing the satirical value to lose all meaning, making it look like what is said in the show is true, which once again isn't Velma's intent. The biggest question is, could this have been its own thing away from the Scooby Doo franchise? I don't actually know if I can answer this question until seeing the full series. I think that if this was its own thing, the exaggeration would hit harder. Maybe some would understand more of the satirical undertones. However, would people even take a chance to watch it? That I'm not so sure about. There's a high possibility that it would never have been greenlit due to the stigma about adult cartoons, whereas Scooby Doo is a household name, even if it's a darker look into the source material. In all honesty, there is no better franchise to do so. It's weird enough, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. Although people dislike the show, there has been a lot of buzz surrounding it. And isn't that one of the main purposes of satire? Creating awareness of a topic? With an original work, I'm not sure the same buzz would surround it. Also, I want to point this out before I forget. The creators do have a deep appreciation for Scooby Doo, putting references to the Hex Girls and Scrappy in Norville's snack stream. There are all different posters of monsters from the original series, and even some of the voice actors from different Scooby Doo series make an appearance, and references a lot of different Hanna-Barbera cartoons. After learning about all the satirical details this show adds into its series, does it make it any better? I don't know. That's a decision you'll have to make for yourself. To me, yeah, a little bit. It's not the best satire in the world, nor is it the best show ever made, but it does bring something new to the franchise. It isn't the same old approach to the mystery show that captures the culprit by the end of the episode. That should be applauded. Is Velma dumb and cringy? Yes. Yes, it is. But that, for some odd reason, is why I like it. It embraces the chaos of a teen drama and still showcases the genre's flaws. Although it takes some uncomfortable turns as a satirical work, it does a pretty good job, making it not as bad as IMDb says it is. But hey, that's just what I think. Do you think this is a satirical piece? What other classic tropes can you find hiding in the series? Let me know in the comments. If you like overthinking other shows, check out this playlist right here. Hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.